Marcus Vega, Chapter 3, Pure Imagination. Okay. I lived in this house since I was 2. I was born in Puerto Rico, where my dad's from, but I don't remember even the slightest thing about it. Charlie was born here in Springfield. He's never lived or been anywhere else. The rest of the houses around here have a fence, but not our little brown house. Just a stone driveway that leads to a side entrance, where a rickety door always gives me trouble. I have to jam it a few times before it pops open. We walk in and take our shoes off in the mudroom. Charlie immediately runs upstairs. "Hey man, take your backpack with you." "You bring it," he yells from the top of the stairs. I grab his backpack and walk up to his room. When I open his door, he's already in movie mode. "Did you do your homework?" Charlie ignores me and keeps messing with that remote control to get his movie start playing. "Yo, Mr. Wonka, did you hear me?" He shoos me away. "Seriously, Charlie," I tell him, bringing his backpack to his bed. "You're in middle school now. You gotta get your work done before you start watching stuff." "I did it," he says, not looking at me. "Really?" "Yes, go away." I check his backpack and pull out his binder. I open his homework tab and I check through the assignments. His handwriting has gotten way better thanks to Grace. There are a few misspelled words, but it looks like he's doing pretty well. I check his math. He got all of it done. I see the last assignment is a book report. It's on Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. "You're reading it in class?" "Yep," he says, still not looking. "That's awesome, man." It's cool his teacher is trying to challenge him with the sequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. "How do you like it?" "Good," he says. "Cool. Want to tell me about it?" "No," he replies. "Go away. It is my relax time." He shoos me off again, and this time I listen. On my way out, I pass the 5-foot stormtrooper cardboard cutout that he won shooting free throws at the town's 4th of July festival last summer. Before I could tell him to let me shoot the ball, he clutched it in his left hand, kept his right smoothly on the side of the ball, and launched it in a perfect spin toward the hoop. Nothing but net. I remember the people behind me cheered and congratulated him. Charlie kept his left hand in the air with his wrist bent for emphasis. He had just made a basket and he wanted the guy in the booth to know it. It was pretty awesome. "Good shot, kid," he said, handing Charlie the stormtrooper. "Want to try your luck with another one?" "Nah," said Charlie. "I swished one in your face." My brother, the smack talker. I throw open my backpack into my room and go downstairs to the kitchen. My mom left a note on the fridge. She works at the ticketing counter for a big airline at Philadelphia International Airport. Her commute is long, so I usually take care of the stuff at home. "Hey, hun, they asked me to cover gate assignments, so, gonna be late." Hopefully not later than 8. Fingers crossed there aren't delays. I left some food in the fridge. Please make sure Charlie bathes, and tell him to wear his bathrobe. It's supposed to drop down to the 20s tonight. And just text me if there's an emergency, or if you just want to talk. I love you both. Go team go. My mom ends every note with "Go team go." She calls my brother and me her all-star team. She's been working at the airline for over 10 years. She started off as a reservations associate, then moved to gate agent after Charlie was born. Mom wants to get her business degree so she can get promoted, earn more money, and have a better schedule. I think she feels guilty that she works morning shifts and sometimes has to work at night and doesn't get to see us. She leaves us long notes about how much she loves us and how she's going to get a promotion and take us all on vacation and all that stuff. She's always stressing. I take out my earnings for the day and put them on the kitchen counter. I count out $14. Not bad for a day's work. I walk over to the Cookie Monster jar and drop in the cash. My mom calls it our Cookie Monster cash. She adds whatever change and loose singles she has, but she doesn't know I do too. She thinks the money she's dropping in is just adding up. Last spring, my brother and I came home from hanging out at the playground and found the entire bottom floor of the house flooded. A leaky pipe had dripped water all day and messed up the carpets. When the repair guy came, he said it was going to cost over $300 to fix the pipe. My mom asked the guy if he could fix the leak now, and she would pay him at the end of the week when she got her paycheck. The guy said he'd only agree if he could take her out on a date. We had a leaky pipe for a week. Charlie loved it. He splashed around acting like he was a pirate on a sinking ship. We decided to create the Cookie Monster cash relief jar so we would have cash in case of emergencies. Soon after, I started my business at school, and I've been secretly adding cash to the jar ever since. Our heating unit busted right at the start of winter, and luckily we had enough to pay for it without my mom having to deal with another creepy guy. I closed the cash jar and I opened the refrigerator. I don't know why my mom insists on leaving peanut butter in there. She says it can go bad, but all it does is get hard and impossible to spread. I scoop out a lump of peanut butter and dump it into a bowl. I grab some honey from the cupboard and squeeze it in. I pop it in the microwave and set it for 30 seconds. The beeping echoes through the house, and I hear Charlie crawling under the table and moving between the chairs. I know you're under the table, I tell him, watching the microwave warm up my peanut butter. You think you're slick trying to sneak up on me? He's giggling, but I don't turn around. The microwave beeps a few times when it's done, and I take out the bowl, throw a few Ritz crackers in, and grab a spoon. I walk toward the dinner table knowing Charlie is under there and ready to pounce. By now he's laughing so hard he can barely contain himself. He would be the worst undercover agent ever. I look under the table, but he's not there. I hear footsteps in the kitchen. I hear him trying to sneak up behind me. With every step he gets closer and giggles louder. Right when he's inches from pouncing, he holds his breath, and I can see from the reflection of the plates hanging in the dining room that he's crouching down about to leap. He gets ready to spring. Ah! He jumps behind me and my chair tilts forward. Yo, you're gonna knock me down, man, I say, putting the bowl of peanut butter on the table. When I stand, he dives for my legs and clings to my knees. I buckle and fall to the floor. Charlie climbs up my shoulders and digs his hands into my sides, trying to tickle me. I got you, Marcus. He knows my tickle spot and digs his fingers in relentlessly. Hey, man, that really tickles. I squirm around laughing as he continues to move his fingers right under my shoulder. I roll over and flatten him on the ground. He lies flat on the ground, completely still. I quickly get up, thinking he can't breathe. His eyes are closed. Hey, man, you okay? You okay, buddy? He doesn't move, and I start feeling nervous. I check his face, and it's still. I'm about 100 pounds heavier than he is. He's probably out of breath. I put my head down to his chest to check his breathing. He had heart surgery when he was an infant. The doctor says he's fine now, but it still worries me sometimes. I check his heartbeat, and then when I do, he sneak attacks me, jamming his fingers under my armpit and wiggling them again. Gotcha! He moves with expert speed, and I can't help tumbling to the floor, cracking up. He jumps on top of me and continues to tickle. Mercy, mercy, I say, trying to stop laughing. Who is your master? You are, I tell him as he continues to tickle. You are! Who is your master? I can't stop laughing. The more I do, the more powerless I am. He's totally got me. You, please, Charlie, please, mercy, mercy. He finally stops and stands up, his two hands and fists resting at his sides. He smiles triumphantly and reaches a hand out to help me. I take it and roll up to standing. You got me. Good, Charlie. You got me real good. Yep, he says, going to the table to scoop some peanut butter from my bowl. Did you do your homework? He asks. Yeah, I tell him. Watch Wonka with me. I thought you wanted to watch it alone. Come with me and you see, in pure imagination, he says, trying to sing the song. Why don't we change it up a little? Let's watch Hulk. I watch Hulk every day. What? You're the Hulk, and I tickle him. Charlie goes for my armpits again, but he can't reach when I'm standing. I pretend to laugh, but he knows it doesn't tickle me for real. I will get you when you are sleeping, he says, and puts 2 fingers to his eyes, and then points at me. Then he laughs and hugs me. I put my arm around him and hug him back. All right, we can watch Wonka again, but you have to take a bath, Mom says. Charlie slumps over and grunts his disapproval. I get water in my ears. I know, man, but do like I told you and cup your hands over your ears when you get water in them, and then pump the water out. Charlie copies the motion I make with my hands and pumps his ears. Go, and then we'll watch the movie and eat dinner. He doesn't move. Come on, man, don't you want to watch Wonka? He still doesn't move. This is one of the things Charlie does when he doesn't want to do something. He just stays still. But it's only because he's thinking about it. He wants to be convinced that what I'm asking of him is worth it, and I respect that. Okay, I'll make sure you don't get water in your ears when you take a bath. He thinks about it for a minute. When he sees me walking over to the bathroom, he starts to follow. He waits outside in the hall and watches as I crouch down to turn on the water and fill the tub. I move my mom's stuff to the bathroom sink and make room for Charlie to sit. I squeeze some body wash into the tub and move my hand around the bottom until bubbles start forming. Bubbles are all it takes to convince Charlie. He runs inside and starts to take off his socks. Okay, you can leave. I don't need you. I stand up and step back to the door. Off you go, he says, waving me away. I leave Charlie in the bathroom and head to my room. Later that evening, I heat up 2 big bowls of chicken soup in the microwave, and Charlie reads a sports magazine at the dinner table. I want to do this, he said, pointing to a picture of a guy running. You want to run track? Yes. And this. He points to a picture of a football player. Football? No way, man, I say. Hey, what about this? I show him an article about sports writing. Meh, he says, I am a man of action. He points to the magazine at a picture of a track star wearing a gold medal. I am the greatest. I laugh. Come on, man, let's go watch Wonka. We go to Charlie's room and he clicks on the remote to start the movie. I grab the 2 bowls of soup and we watch quietly in his room. When Charlie is asleep a few hours later, I hear someone at the door. I sit up from the chair in Charlie's room and hear my mom push her way inside the house. I walk down the stairs and find her taking off her coat quickly in the mudroom to get inside where it's warm. Man, it is cold outside, she said, shivering. I go to the kitchen to heat her food. Hey, sweetheart, what are you still doing up? Waiting for you, I say, staring at the microwave, spinning my mom's bowl of soup. How was work? They had to de-ice 3 planes. Ugh, that delayed everything. I'm so sorry I'm late. I take out the bowl and walk it over to the table where Mom's placing her bag down and getting ready to sit. Oh, sweetie, she says, taking the bowl of soup. Thank you. I nod and I sit down next to her. Did your brother bathe? I nod. I got him with soap bubbles. Nice. She swirls her soup before taking a sip. Yum, nothing like warm soup on a cold night. I don't say anything. I just quietly watch her eat. The sound of the spoon hitting the edge of the bowl sounds like a bell. She sets the spoon on the table and raises the bowl to her lips and slurps up the last of the noodles, carrots, and broth until it's all gone. She puts the bowl back down and wipes the side of her face with the back of her hand. There's a loose noodle stuck to the side of the bowl, and she carefully pinches it, dangling it above her face before letting it drop in her mouth. I was hungry, she says, taking a final look inside the bowl, but doesn't find any more loose carrots or noodles. She takes a sip of water and watches me watching her. She smiles and puts her hand on me. How was school? Good, I tell her. Good, she says. I should get to bed, I say. Okay, sweetheart, she says, rubbing my hand. Good night, Mom. Love you. Love you too, sweetheart. Go, team, go, I say, and walk to my room. I hear my mom rummaging through the kitchen, saying something about peanut butter going bad. Then I hear a drawer open and the sound of silverware rattling. A utensil clanks against glass, and after a moment the microwave beeps. She opens the refrigerator, and I know she's put the peanut butter back in there. After a moment, I hear her walking up the stairs. She opens the door to my room and pops her head inside. I look up and she smiles, a spoonful of peanut butter in her mouth. She mumbles, I love you, then heads to Charlie's room. I know she'll cuddle up with him. She always falls asleep halfway on the bed with her uniform on. Sometimes I get up in the middle of the night and put a comforter over her and move her leg onto his bed. Go, team, go. That is the end of chapter 3.